This is a very cheap do-it-yourself kit. This one is a metal detector. You can get it from China for like $2. And let's open it up and check out the parts. So this is the board that it comes with. See, it's got it looks like 1, 2, 3 transistors, 3 different transistors, a buzzer, an LED, on and off, a variable resistor or 101, a few different kind of capacitors, and a couple of resistors. Let me get my solder ready and we can put this thing together. Going to be using my little board over here. Okay, clearly this is where the buzzer goes. There's a positive over there, so the positive of the buzzer will go here just like that. And let's give it a little zoom. Going to prime the solder. This one comes with a little flux. Awesome. Then let's go with the variable resistor. This is a 101. Looks like it goes over here. Nice pointing tool. Variable resistor goes here. And just soldering it on. The trick with soldering really is, I think less is more. You know, you don't want to use a lot of solder. Okay, that's on. Here's the capacitor. You can see over here the C500 100 nano UF nano, I think, nanofarad. The white half of the circle over there corresponds to the negative side of the capacitor, which is over here. So the capacitor would go in just like that. Bend it back a little. Use a tweezer, a nail clipper, excuse me. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Next, let's do some of these smaller capacitors. It looks like there's a 222 and two 104s. One of the 104s clearly goes here. Marked 104. Put these guys in. And this is the way that I like to solder. I like to bend one wire back, use a nail clipper, make it short, and then just put it to the board. At this point, we're probably already like 2 or 3 minutes into the video. So I would be interested if anyone is still following along. Give me a shout out. The LED over here looks like the LED, the arrow is pointing that direction. So the positive, which is the longer terminal, goes before it. So the arrow should point towards the negative. So the LED would go like this, the longer one over here. Certainly hope I got that correct. Uh-oh. Next, let's put this guy in. This lets you attach some wires. I'm guessing this is, yeah, it looks like the 3 to 5 volts over here, so 2 AA should work. I'll just put that there. That's great. Now another 104 capacitor. Let's see, where does this guy go? Over here. I know that there are some do-it-yourself metal detector videos out there where you can, if I remember correctly, use one of those electronic fly swatters. I've seen some people kind of use those to make your own metal detector. It's pretty cool. The 222, that goes, looks like right over here. Actually looks like there should be 2. Oh, there are 2 of these 222s. So smaller capacitors. Capacitors of course hold some electricity. They hold on to it for a little bit, so you don't, so you have like a good amount left. Almost like a jacuzzi that flows into one of those pools. How the jacuzzi is full and then it has that little waterfall that just keeps flowing into the pool. An interesting analogy. Now for the transistors. These guys are transistors. Transistors really, I think, changed electronics. They're probably the biggest advancement that was made. There are different ones, so you gotta look closely. This one is 9012. 9012, it says it over here. And then the direction, I'm just following this. It looks curved on top, so I'm gonna put the flat end towards the bottom and then the curved end of the transistor up top. Close the window there, see if that makes any difference. Yes, transistors. Very, very cool things. There's the PNP and then the NPN. Now here, you'll notice that I messed this one up. I soldered it too closely, so I'm going to be using one of these just to remove some solder. Just like that. These guys are pretty close. You know, I'll never forget the first case I had when I was doing my surgery rotation. When I was doing plastic surgery, the surgeon said, after a few minutes in, looked right at me and said, "Jeffrey, you will never be a plastic surgeon." And she was right. I shake way too much for surgery. I would not want myself operating on me. The 9018 transistor, this one corresponds to that, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just put it in there. And it looks like my solder got unplugged. So that can explain why it wasn't working well before. This is the 9012. While I wait for my solder to heat up, I'll just put this guy down here. It says 9012. And it shows you the direction. Now we're still waiting for the solder to heat up a little bit. While we're doing that, maybe I can figure out which transistor goes, which resistor goes where. So one way to find out what number your resistors are, of course, is to look it up online. The other way is to use a voltmeter. I set it down here to 20. Take one of these guys. This looks like 0.45. And that would go maybe to 470. think this is probably a 470. Plus or minus. So this guy's got to be the 470 plus or minus. This one here is the 2, and this is times 100, so this is times 1,000, so this is the 2K. And that would make this the 200. Not getting a reading. Very, very odd. Maybe it's too high. Or there we go. It was too low. So when I put it on the 200K, it came on. So this is a pretty powerful resistor. There's going to be the 200K over here. And like its name, it resists electricity. And it looks like right here, it says 200. I'm going to be putting that guy over there. They are not directional, so you can put it any way you want. The 2K is this guy here. This is the 2K. And this one will be the 470, although I think it's really 450 ohms. So looks like they were a bit generous with that extra 20. But you shouldn't really make a big difference. And now we have a very big mess. This is really not what you want to see. Solder is back in action. So let's tackle this one at a time. This is the transistor. And same problem. Alright, that worked out. Get these little niblets. Sticky outputs, as one of my professors used to call them. Get this guy over here on the side, this resistor. Nice and easy. This is the 200K resistor, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the 470. And of course, remove these sticky outlets. It's looking pretty good so far. The last piece over here is the button. I do not think this is a directional kind of thing. I'm quite impressed by how many pins there are to solder on this button. Okay, that looks like the finished product. It says that it takes 3 to 5 volts. I'm actually just going to push this down just for aesthetics. There we go. I just wanted it to look a little better. Aesthetics is half the battle. And so let me get a battery case over here. This has, should have, I think, 2 AA's. Yeah, 2 AA's, 1.5 volts each. Should make this entire thing 3 volts. Okay, just getting these wires ready. I'm just double checking with the voltometer over here, making sure it's 3. And I'm not seeing 3, but let's make sure it's turned on. There we go. So 3 volts, this should work pretty well, I think. So we'll just connect the battery in over here. Ooh, that's exciting. Now either this is very sensitive or something's wrong here. So it certainly shouldn't be going the entire time. So let's adjust the variable resistor, see if that makes a difference. And here are all the metal trimmings. And we can see that. Nope. There we go. So it's not the most powerful, but you definitely can see that when it goes right on top, that it goes off and that guy's pretty loud. So it looks like once you get it, you need to adjust the variable resistor and get that just right, and then it will work. Overall, pretty cool product, very easy to make. Looks like we got 3 transistors, 5 capacitors if you include the electrolytic, 3 resistors, a variable resistor, a buzzer, connections for the power switch, and an on and off switch over here. So, and an LED. Really not a lot of parts. Looks like 14. And once you get it going, just make sure you get the variable resistor so that it's just off until you get metal right beneath it, and then it'll turn on. And that seems to be how it works.